Hello and welcome to a new look Blues Box Chunks. From this point onwards we've made a few improvements, so when it's a solo an example like this video, we're going to have the tab up on screen for you, and then later in the video I'll play the rhythm part so that you can practice the solo over top of the chords as well, and we'll put the tabs up for you there as well. So for today's chunk we're going to look at a minor blues in the key of A minor and a couple of little tricks you can use just to highlight the chords a little bit better. So let's take a listen to this A minor blues. Okay, so just a pretty basic minor blues, just the three chords that we would expect in a blues in A minor. So we've got an A minor, a D minor, and then kind of the slightly rogue chord that you get in a lot of blues is this E7 chord, which actually contains a note which is from outside of our key. So we're going to kind of show you something that helps us to deal with that note, which can be quite nice. But also when we change from the A minor to the D minor, you may have noticed this kind of lick that had a slightly unusual sound to it. So in effect what I'm doing there is going for my A minor, and then I'm using a diminished seventh chord as a passing chord to get me to the D minor chord. So we'll go into this more in depth and torment Jeff with it in an upcoming episode. But what I'm going to give you today is just a basic arpeggio shape, which looks like this. We'll put the tabs up onto the screen for this as well. So the shape is pretty straightforward. It goes. Now the thing about diminished seventh arpeggios is they're symmetrical, which basically means every 3 frets we repeat the shape and it's the same arpeggio. So if I take that shape, wherever I play it, it's going to lead me to that D minor chord. So for example, if I play the arpeggio, you can see it wants to end up on that chord. Now it doesn't matter which one of those that I play. It's going to have the same effect every single time. So if you kind of learn to time that, so you end up on the chord, as the chord change happens, it's a really nice way of leading the listener to that chord. So that was a fairly straightforward lick, the one I used. Another one we could use, just maybe a slightly simpler one timing wise, would be. So I would start that 1, 2, 3. So I'm starting that on the third beat of the previous bar to the D minor chord. The other thing in here is we talked about that E7 chord. So if we were to change a lot of that solo, which is either using the A minor pentatonic scale, some of the A natural minor scale, which is scale is probably familiar to most of you. If we were to play an A harmonic minor scale, it contains that G sharp that's in the E7 chord. So that allows us to kind of highlight that chord change. So worth experimenting with that scale. And then finally, when I got to the final bar where the progression returns to that E7, within our harmonic minor scale, we have another diminished seventh arpeggio, and it actually begins on that mystery note, if you like, so that the note that belongs to that E7 chord. So as soon as I got to that E at the end, again, that diminished arpeggio has the effect of taking you back to the first chord. So quite a lovely, slightly exotic sound, I guess, but just to try and take your minor blues playing to a slightly different level. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to play through the chord progression. I'll do it twice. I'll do 24 bars, hopefully without mistakes, so that you can then hopefully solo over the top. We'll put the tabs on screen again. You can use the solo that I've given you, but also obviously try and come up with some of your own ideas. And try and work on timing that diminished arpeggio to land on that D minor chord. Initially, don't worry whether it doesn't sound anything other than an arpeggio. That's kind of how you tend to learn how to do it. It can sound quite mechanical, but that's what you're trying to achieve. You're just trying to land on that note of the chord on the first beat of the bar. So we're going to try the rhythm part now. So I want you to play along with the tab, and then maybe on the second run through, see what you can come up with of your own. So here we go. So there you go, a minor blues in A minor with a couple of little twists for you to work on to try and take your blues playing to your next level.